Welcome back. In one of my previous videos, I talked about one of my goals for last winter and this year was to organize the garage a little bit better. And one of the things that I wanted to do was get a bunch of long-handled tools off of multiple hooks where I wanted my new work area to be and put them all in one place. Now, those tools, rakes, shovels, and so on, are things that I don't use very often, so they don't need to be immediately available. So I just decided to make a couple of triangle brackets out of 2x4s and attach them to the wall, just wide enough that the handles could slide between them and that the larger spots at the top, the broom part, the shovel head, would rest upon those things on the wall. I knew it wasn't going to be that difficult, but when I drew the plan for it, I made it a little bit more difficult than it had to be, and I decided to try my first joinery, or what I think is my first joinery. You can see here I've drawn on the end of this 2x4 where I'm going to saw into it, and then my plan was to do that with the rest of the 2x4s and fit them into the joints the old style way. Now, it didn't turn out to be that difficult to saw the joints. As you see here, I'm sawing into the wood pretty easily. These 2x4s actually turned out to be a little softer than I'm used to. I don't know if it was a different kind of wood. The hard part, of course, was the vertical with the grain cut, not only because it's a deeper cut, because the grain wants to move the saw blade a little bit, but it wasn't as hard as some people make it out to be to get a perfectly straight cut. I just had to try several times. The saw that I'm using here, of course, has a ridge on the back, so it's not going to go all the way down. So I switched to this pull saw, which made pretty quick work of getting that square off of there. But then after I did that a couple of times, I realized it was just too time-consuming, and it wasn't really going to be necessary for what I was building. So my final bracket to hold those long-handled tools has this type of joinery on one half, but not on the other half. And here you can see I'm removing the block, and it came off fairly well. I was actually pretty happy with that bit. I just didn't want to do it, whatever it was, 6 or 7 more times. There in that corner, you can see the hooks where I had the long-handled tools, the brooms and shovels hanging up. And then over in the new corner, next to the water heater, you can see where I have put them. And that is the bracket there at the top with the tools hanging in it just as I described. It holds quite a bit. And you can see that the one on the left is the one where I did the joinery, and the one on the right is where I decided not to do it. But where I joined the 2 boards there, I screwed them together, and they fit in really well. I was actually really happy with that. At the bottom, I did a slightly different style, and as you can see at the top, slightly different style. But on the right half, I just decided not to do it all again because I had already done it over there, and that was a lot of vertical sawing, and I got lazy. But I know I can do it now. So if I ever do need to do any type of, I guess that's called a lap joint. I'm not an expert on joints, so don't take my word for it. But anyway, garage is more organized than it used to be. I'm happy with it. And I have just a couple of more videos from last winter, and it's starting to get cool enough that I can do some work out in the garage this winter. So there'll be some new stuff coming up, hopefully. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.